Hello everyone, Firemac here, and welcome back with more Endwalker playthrough with me, Firemac, for Final Fantasy XIV. I am streaming as later as I wanted to, but unfortunately I started the stream way super late, so I will not get to stream as much as I would like to. Also, technical difficulties being problematic as they are, I will hopefully not run into any. So let's continue this, shall we? Talk to Graha real fast. Hope you don't mind us barging into your room for our late night feast. For what it's worth, it did me a world of good to put our troubles to one side, if only for a moment. Sound the bell, school's in! Level 82, that's still not higher than my gear. Kral and Grahatia were having a pleasant conversation until you barged in. Oh, really? Sorry for me, the barge in. Freaking punks. Oh, there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope? I was about to make my way to the studio as it happens. I wanted to try and speak with Scholar Montechane and thank him for coming to our rescue in the Rostra. As it turns out, he'd come here to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Thavnir. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud with his former students. Chew the cud. Since we're still waiting for Yasola and the others, I thought now the perfect time to pay him a visit. Care to join me? I mean, why not? Then it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alphino can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go on ahead to the phenomenon. Yeah. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the studio for a time. And that might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them that we will not be long. Yo, she just walked straight into me, and she gone. What are you looking at, Mender? Go away. Stop staring at me. You don't need to look at me. Leave me alone, Mender. Stop looking at me. Also, why do you keep calling them the twins? This seems so weird. The twins. If Father can master these fiendish contraptions, then so can I! Heading out for a stroll? Are they about to join me again? The Scholar himself was here? In that case, what are we waiting for? I too am eager to see him, though I'm somewhat dread the thought of visiting the studio. I dare say our notoriety precedes us. Alphino, of all people, worrying over his reputation, and at our alma mater, no less. Well, wonders never cease. You'll understand soon enough. Off we go. Okay, audio seems to be okay. Now, where are we going? To the studio. To the studio, please. Hi, yes, very good. Oh, gotta talk to my NPCs first. It feels like only yesterday that I walked through these doors. Whoa, Alize. See that sculpted picture above the entrance? That's the mark of Thaliak, the scholar, and bearer of the waters of knowledge. It's no exaggeration to say that Charlene itself is one enormous shrine to him, and that's especially noticeable here in the studio. Where? Oh, that. Cutscene time, yo! Cutscene time. Oh. Here it is, Phenomenon. While I expect you made note of it before, one can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? Well, most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums. It also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative office and so forth. As the center of what would later become the studio, it was established to promote the study of ethereological phenomena, hence the name. Though, with ether being so fundamental Being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life, even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the 6th astral era, phenomenon was decreed complete, and the studium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority in atheology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, standing proud as Charlotte's foremost educational institute. You always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed, I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited that same foppish speech. Such is his underlying love for his old stamping ground. He was in tip-top form back then, youngest to enter the studium, graduated with the highest honors in magical arts, and atheology undisputed. With highest honors in magical arts and atheology undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the studium at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious. Yeah, you're equally prodigious scholars. Nice to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me, nor did I do well enough to graduate with honors. And I am certainly not the studium's most notorious master debater. They gotta stop saying that. In all respects, I have ever been in his shadow. If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alphino Livio began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know that better than anyone, the adoration of the student body has for Alphino, and with a bit of luck, it might work to our advantage. Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look for Scholar Montaigne. Other faculty tend to frequent their office, but unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whims take him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. That was Alphino Levior, wasn't it? The Alphino Levior! He is with his sister and Master Baldician's granddaughter! This can only mean one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching! Spread the word! Spread the word! Oh, sorry. You said you're looking for the scholar. Yes, knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Aliapo should have a better idea. Are you lost? Wandering off streets, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me. You're a Trini Gleaner fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I? Oh, how silly of me. An orientation is in order. Allow me to bid you a warm welcome to Searcher's Meet. Let me start with a question. What is the most important thing you'll find in the studium? That's right, books! What's the second most important? Why, that's simple. Everything else! That's what we deal here in the Searcher's Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us. If we don't have it in our stores, we send the gleaners off to find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Ayapaisa this, tongue of Giganton that. It's enough to make your head stand on end, which is possibly what some of our students are trying to accomplish, this being a school of magic and all. As our newest gleaner, you'll have to work. Yeah, you have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. Oh, I like that first one. The only thing I'm interested in gleaning is information on the scholar's whereabouts. I beg your pudding? You're not a gleaner? Then this was all an elaborate ruse? Oh, no wait. Come to think of it, you never actually claimed to be one in the first place. My mistake. He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to Maker's Meet. Go back the way you came in, and you'll see it on the opposite side of the entrance. It's a laboratory of sorts. Home to many rare and expensive curios, not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. Oh, that's reassuring. Ha! In the time it's taken me to tell you all of this, the scholar has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. I have a feeling you'll need it. Thanks. Yes, the scholar was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't recall him mentioning where he was planning to go next. When we parted ways, he went down the corridor, perhaps to one of the auditoriums? So we're trying to find... Oh, yeah. So, like, literally right where we were. Yeah, the Krow's here. What's up, Crow? Unsurprisingly, the scholar is not in his office. I did, however, speak with one student who saw him not long ago, so you can't have gone far. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Hotel sightseeing log 007.
Ah, I remember you.
Yay, it's voiced.
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louis Soir in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you.
So Galuf is dead? Okay.
I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Montoya's prize student. Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
Oh, we'd be coming to you for quite a bit then.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
So why doesn't the Forum just all come together and say, yes, you can say it, but just to the Scions, you know?
How is that even possible?
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat.
Oh, we're about to get some learning in, everybody. Alright, freaking, crap, I can't remember, Fairy Godmother. Freaking Cinderella.
We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into 3 forms.
Oh, now we got 3 forms of the ether.
2 are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the 3rd?
Energy? Corporeal ether. Magic. I guess it would be magic. Or corporeal ether also makes like the most obvious answer
Not
too.
entirely inaccurate, but nor is it the answer I was looking for. That would be corporeal ether.
So literally like the smart ass answer. Oh, if it's not incorporeal ether, it's gotta be corporeal ether. Whatever.
This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it.
What does it say?
Now,
Hydro...
what would happen
Hydro?
if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
Hold on. What am I thinking as the paper? Think, picture the soul as paper, gotcha. Picture the soul as paper. Picture the soul as paper. Now, what would happen if the paper was doused in ink, the same type of ether composed memories? Wouldn't it just be like an eraser almost?
It would blot out everything that was written.
Gotcha. I'm understanding.
Precisely.
Kinda.
We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
You talking about Dalamud or whatever?
The 7th Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation.
Huh.
Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace.
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty.
9/10. That's a huge quantity.
Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea.
We basically need like 90, nearly 90 of the Forum to agree to that.
For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean.
Welcome to the
And our memories drift apart and dissolve. Rather defeating the purpose, I suppose.
Hydrum. The I can't figure out what word that's supposed to be.
But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
In a roundabout way,
What happens after that?
In a roundabout way, this can also be applied to Kingdom Hearts, which is kind of weird.
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form.
That sounds like Ascian talk.
Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable. Well, I think that's enough education for today, now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet.
Why were you staring at the paper so intently? That's some Disney crap right there.
I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend.
Woo! Yay.
Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
You've been granted the run of phenomenon. If you're game, Aliapo would put your artistry to good use. Oh, is this where we do the crafter stuff? 2 slots remain. Oh, uh-oh. My inventory is getting a little too full, guys. Let's see what's going on. Alright, some of this is from... Oh no. Oh no. I guess I'm gonna have to make this one continuous recording. Alright, yes I could... Let me see. While Scholar Montaigne is best known for his role as the head of the studio, he's said to be one of the finest mages Charlian has ever produced. Having seen for myself the ease which he weaves extraordinarily complex and powerful magics, I have no reason to doubt the claim. Some of my earliest memories are of Scholar Montaigne, actually. He was a close friend of our grandfather. He would come for tea and amaze us with his tricks. Much like his demonstration with the paper and ink, he's a huge part of why I wanted to enter the studio in the first place. I did not give it the voice. That's partially because there's many more new quests now. Look at all these quests that just popped up. Back on board with the story. I'll explain this for YouTube as well. Basically, what I'm going to be doing from now on is that when I'm doing recording for YouTube, I'm only going to focus on the main story and any blue quests that give me 8th recurrence. And I'll probably do the whole quest line while I'm at it, because it's kind of fun to kind of dive into the side quest that's related to it. But besides that, I will skip everything and only do them in between my recording sessions while I'm streaming. Alright. A capital idea. Kral is still digesting a rather hefty portion of food for thought. Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understand the Forum's true motives, and the mysteries of life itself for good measure. It's funny, I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in days to come. On that note, let's head back to the annex. Perhaps on the way you could better acquaint yourself with Aliapo, as the scholar suggested, while I share our findings with Raha. Oh, are they gonna force me? No. I can't. Yeah, no. We're leaving that. Craft request, we're not doing that for YouTube. Sorry, YouTube, we're not doing that for YouTube. We're not. We're just not, okay? That's something for me to do in my own time. I would rather just continue to plot right now. Oh, Steny, what you doing here, buddy? Having spent most of the time in Thevnir, I've yet to fully grasp the lie of the land here in Charlian. Even finding my way to the annex proved a challenge. Estinian returned not long after we departed for Stedum. A shame that he missed the chance to attend our lecture with the scholar, or perhaps not. You better not let your guard down around Key. One small favor becomes another, then another, and before you know it, you'll be running to the other side of the world in search of a bottle of wine or some other rubbish. And then again, it might make for a welcome change of pace from your usual heroics. And as the scholar said, it could also lead to interesting discoveries. It seems I've done an adequate job of relaying Scholar Montechange's lecture to Raha. Given his experience in the field of souls and memories, he had no trouble understanding it. Ah, welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the studio proved most educational. While you're away, I received word from our fellow Scions. As expected, news of the warding skills was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsa Lominsa. So the time has come for us to go on the offensive. It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrin. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinian? Woo! Those look like the same shipment that we had to begin with. Phew, I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain, though. Vitra and the alchemists of the Great Work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the Forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies. With luck, we'll soon have good news on our own to share. The tide is about to turn, I can feel it. To Limsa Lominsa! Ba-da-dee-da-do, dee-da-do, dee-dee-da-da-do, da-dee-do, dee-dee-dee-da-do-do, dee-dee-da. Excuse me, Limsa Lominsans. I was told to expect you. As you may or may not be aware, the Admiral is at present entertaining the Elder Caesar and the Sultana, 3 of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Do you need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you to them? Yes. My apologies for calling you away from Charlene at such a short notice. Man, I did try to give her a voice at one time, but I honestly don't remember it at all. On the contrary, we are honored and grateful, pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. 'Twas only right that this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it's only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It is reassuring to learn we are all in accord. But might I ask what your plan entails? It hinges entirely on the warding skills and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. And during the times of Charlene, the Allied nations have engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge of abductions of kobolds, Sahagin, Ixal, and Ananta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well. But your triumph in Ratatan has given us cause to hope once more. The time has come to free ourselves of this menace, and it is you, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Talafaroi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's hearts, Garlemald. These brave few will be the Ilsabard contingent. Ilsabard contingent, yeah, okay, yeah. To think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and its civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Talafarois every whim and without question. There are two victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I ask only that in choosing to remember, we do not also forsake our compassion and morality. For without that, there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. Aye, on that we can all agree. On our second objective, it is the colossal tower that Thancred and Orange observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there is no reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the tower Zot was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of the Talafaroi. They're certainly in no rush to press further into our lands. I'd wager the spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied, while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Ystola's analysis of the tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on her observations inside the tower Zot, the spires siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to the larger spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we'll bring their scheme crashing down along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good, but what would you have us to do? What would you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilsabard contingent. Consider it an official request from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Hell yeah. Skull freaking Garlemald finally. Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. Do hell yeah. Hell yeah, for honor and glory for the people of Garlemald, for revenge against the Talafaroi. Well, we're not going to do revenge. Honor and glory seems too basic of an answer. For the people of Garlemald? I mean, I guess, yes, to save them. We're going to save them. They're not all terrible people. We have met good Garleans. Like Sid. There's others. Nero's a good guy too. You know, he's kind of anti-hero-ish, but he's getting there. There's other good Garleans. I know it. Gaius is turning over a new leaf too. And though he was not always the greatest person. For the people of Garlemald! We'll save them. Couldn't have put it better myself! Chistola, Thancred, and Orange have already pledged their support, and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingents. They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding scales of Al Amigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilsabard. Ralbon and Lord Emmerich are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourselves known upon your arrival. Pack warm clothing, furs, and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the tall offerway so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go. Safe in knowledge that Eorza will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. Oh yeah, we're going to Garlemald, man. Yes, for Garlemald. I don't remember who this is, but I'm gonna give him give him a hi, and then bye. Bunk. To the Alamegan Quarter. Oh man, we're going all the way across. He gave me a pat. You guys couldn't see that, but he gave me a pat. Yeah, man, we haven't been here in a good while. Oh my god, it feels good to fly! Oh, we've been running around on foot this whole time. Even if it's just a short distance. I'll do it. Everybody's here. Hold on, just talk to everybody real fast. How you doing, Emmerich? Ah, so fancy meeting you. I trust our mutual friend is setting into life as a scion. Collaboration never was his forte. The moment the fighting ended, off he'd go, like a gaily cat swept up in a strong breeze. But rest assured, he will always be there when you need him. Probably. If Emmerich asks after me, say I'm getting on fine, and leave it at that. Don't you dare breathe a word about the cord. The cord? What does he mean? What's he talking about, the cord? What's he mean about the cord? I'm a little confused. What's he referring to? I must quiz Thancred and Uranjea on the conditions we can expect in Garlemald. I know it's cold, but how cold? Will I need to keep my ears covered? They can be a bit sensitive at times. Dude, it's in the far north, so it's probably really cold. You know, I'm quite looking forward to seeing who's been selected for the Isilbar contingent. I have a few people in mind. Care to make a friendly wager? Oh, yeah. Maybe Fordola's going to join us. What's his name is definitely not going to show up. If he does show up, that'd be weird. Because he can't fight. Ironball. I'm thinking of Ironball, by the way. Rowbone. Oh, Rowbone. Oh, Rowbone. Oh, Rowbone. Ah, the Wanderer's return. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding skills of yours are what's made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Emmerich be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we've seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. What about Lise? We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. So just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Isilbar contingent. The very suggestion that we send some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid onto the Garleans has made me rather unpopular and in certain quarters. Who is Hilda coming? Can't please them all. Sadly not, though I'd do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I've battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Emmerich's struggles mirror my own. For a time, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eorza is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Isilbar, I and other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again. Yes, Gaius! Ya buddy! Much has occurred since we parted ways in Wurlit. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led information on this Why can't I say this word? Expeditionary Force, thank goodness, alright. By the way, he was a part of the Trial series, if you guys didn't know, of the Shadowbringers. That's what he's talking about, what Wurlit was. I know I mentioned it before, but I don't think I went into too much detail. I might have. I don't remember. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one. What do you mean minor? You better be full on force, dude. That being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. Dude, if you're not a part of this plot, I'm gonna be very sad. You care about Garlemald so freaking much, dude. Like, I've pictured Gaius as the new leader for Garlemald. Don't you guys? He's got the right mind. I think he could lead a good Garlemald. So you're not coming with us. Strange. I thought you'd have a stake in this. That's what I just said! I do. The Telafroi had laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. And though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Var. Oh, that's right. And plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilzabard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Dude, I would still take you for a leader, though, but I guess it makes sense. You should wait until after all this blows over. Whether I'm branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. You will deliver your people from harm in your stead. I doubt they'll be pleased to see the champion who wears a set foot on Garlean soil. I'm going with this middle one. Yeah, I mean, I cause a lot of trouble, too. A fair point, but so long as you refrain from announcing your arrival to all and sundry, the average person would have no inkling as to your identity. Although your titles and deeds are common knowledge, only a select few would recognize you on sight alone. Perhaps one day they will learn that the Warrior Light is not a demon to be feared, but a man deserving of their trust. In light of Gaius' rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. You're cool too, Maxima, I like you. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two. And if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you, all of you. Oh, dude, I want to see who's in this contingent. But that's the end of the quest. And also at the end of our time here. Because unfortunately, that's the time allotted. That's the time I've allotted. I'm going to BRB, guys. I'm gonna BRB. But first, I gotta end this episode. This is Firemac saying toodles. See you next time.